In today's virtual safari we start off with a fantastic sighting of the Nhlanguleni Female, and we finish off with an unbelievable walking safari with a pangolin. So we spent a fabulous morning following the Nhlanguleni Female. And I know there's a fair few of you out there that have been wondering how she's doing or where she's been, what she's been up to. She's been keeping a very low profile, moving through the thicker riverine vegetation along the banks of the Sand River in an area that's pretty inaccessible with a vehicle. So whenever she has been found, she often disappears into the thickets before we can get across there. But this morning, Taylor managed to find her on what seemed to be a pretty serious territorial patrol, moving around continuously, scent marking on any little bush close to the road, and those all stand out as little beacons to any other intruders in the area that this is the Nhlanguleni Female's territory. Likely intruders in this area are probably her daughter, the Nhlanguleni Female, possibly the Nhlanguleni Female, who used to be the Piccadilly young female in the north. And so in this area here, it's an area that the Nhlanguleni Female knows very, very well. She spends a lot of time along the side of the Sand River. But as she's moving around now, it also looks as though she's looking for anything to hunt. Her belly looks quite empty. The skin underneath there is all quite saggy. So we'll try and stick it out with her, see where she goes. But I'm just going to use this as a very brief update for everybody out there that is interested in the Nhlanguleni Female. I think she was mating about 6 to 8 weeks ago, so she doesn't look heavily pregnant now at all. But there's a chance that within the next 6 to 8 weeks going forward, we'll hopefully see her with some cubs. But anyways, that's getting a bit far ahead of ourselves. Just to follow a leopard around on a territorial patrol and a potential hunt. There was a couple of impala up on the ridge where, sadly for her, the Nhlanguleni Female, it was quite open between her and the impala, so she couldn't exactly make an approach or try and hunt them, because they'll definitely see her long in advance and then they'll run away and she won't be able to hunt. So she slunk off into the thickets, hoping to loop around and bite. By that stage the impala had then moved on, so settled on a termite mound, moving around on these fairly cool mornings. The grass is often covered in a bit of dew, so that wets her belly and her legs, so she was just cleaning herself up a little bit. But then she got up and was now walking off, and she's about to cross the boundary into Singita, so we won't be able to follow her for too much longer. And if she does cross, we'll bid her farewell. Hopefully she has flies in the ear. Hopefully she has a successful morning hunting. So we are hugely fortunate to be able to do this with a leopard, and this leopard in particular is a phenomenal one to follow. Initially she was very nervous and shy of the vehicles, having been denned herself in the Sand River where she wasn't exposed to that many vehicles, but over time she's now become a supremely relaxed individual, and we see that following through in her daughters. Initially the Finfoot Female, who we saw quite a little bit, she's moved on further south, and certainly in the Nhlanguleni Female, who is also a very relaxed individual. Since then, and that litter was in 2018, she hasn't been able to successfully raise any further cubs. She's lost a fair few of them, even though her territory is very rich in the perfect den sites for a leopard. So it just shows you how difficult and challenging it is for a mother leopard to raise some cubs out here. But as she's now gracing us with her presence, it just highlights how incredibly lucky we are here to be able to see leopards that are this relaxed. Throughout the habituation process, the leopards no longer see the vehicle as a threat or as a source of food, and they see us just as an abstract object that now is just present within their normal day. And so we get to have a little window into their world where this behavior of theirs is purely natural. There's no influence from our presence, and for research and educational purposes, it's amazing just to watch them going around, learning their habits, learning the way they do things. And I guess just spending some time with a leopard like this, because there's very few places in the world where you get to view leopards the way we get to see them here. This evening we've got some ultra special news. A little pangolin has been found, and we've come across to hopefully get some footage of it. It's out in the open, which is somewhat unusual, but very exciting for us to try and get some footage of it. Every now and then it brings its head out, so what I'm hoping for is a shot of its face. I'm sure at some point it's going to get up and start moving, so if we got a few shots of it now, we're going to give it a little bit of space and hope that it starts moving around. Right, so everybody's left me, and we've spent quite some time out here this afternoon following this pangolin. Initially it was just resting in the grass, taking some time to get active, but pangolin are pretty much strictly nocturnal, waiting for it to get a lot darker before they start moving around. And eventually after sunset and things started getting very dark, it's now got up and started moving around. So we're just following it through the grass, and just the fact that it stayed open, it hasn't rolled itself up into a ball and kept moving around, means it's, in my opinion, pretty relaxed and given us some pretty epic views of it trotting along on its back legs. Very hunched over front part of the body, which is counterbalanced by its tail. So it actually doesn't use its front legs when it's walking. It holds them all clenched up, and then when it gets to a termite mound or the need to start digging, it then uses those front paws that have got some pretty vicious sharp claws on them and digs away looking for any termites or ants. And sorry, forgive me, this camera's getting heavy. And each pangolin will feed on a specific type of ant or termite depending on where they are geographically, and they then develop the bacteria in their gut, their microbiome, which helps them then process those particular ants and termites. So it's moving around now looking for anything to feed on, moving from one termite mound probably to another, hoping to find anything on the way there. And it uses its long sticky tongue to stick it right into the termite mound, grab hold of all of those termites or ants, bring them back into its mouth. And we actually had a brief glimpse of its tongue earlier, its bright pink tongue. I hope you've enjoyed this epic little virtual safari following a pangolin through the grass. It's been awesome, exhilarating for me. And if you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, like this video, drop a comment below, and we'll see you again next week. But thanks for watching. So he's going off into some of the thicker stuff through here. See the grass just moving over there. So we're not going to be able to follow it for too much longer. Let's pack it up here and head back to camp.